Alright, I think I finally finished sculpting my Indiana Jones custom figure, which I've been working on for probably 2 years at this point, probably even longer. I've been working on it so long that Kenner actually made a figure that I was thinking of, put it out, and it's already old news. And my original inspiration was I wanted to do a figure just like the original Indiana Jones, but I wanted to do him Temple of Doom style. And I think I did pretty good. Does it look completely professional? No. Was it really good? Yeah. Do I think I topped the one Kenner put out? Some ways. Mine holds his machete a little bit better. I think I got a better holster too. Face is a bit rough, but at least, I don't know, it looks more rugged than whatever this is. Neither of them look that much like Harrison Ford. Mine's got at least the slightest resemblance. And this was one of my favorite action figures ever. So we're already up to paint. There's nothing else I can sculpt. No other thing I can tweak. Spent a good week just looking at the brim of his hat. Oh, gotta make it a little bit taller. Working on his mouth, his lips, sanding him right so that I don't have to fill in all the cracks and stuff with heavy amounts of paint. Lose any detail. Don't want to lose the detail on them pockets. And got green stuff so he can hold his weapons good. Got a working holster. I covered over my my knee joints there because they were negative space. They were empty, and I filled them in. I left a little bit so it still looks like a rivet, like the original figure got. I didn't want to completely get rid of that, but now it's ready for paint, and I'm kind of scared of that because I might ruin them. And look at these details. I had shoelaces on them. The soles of his shoes. Spent a long time. Look at those details. The folds in his back of his shirt. There's one sleeve. Spent a month on that sleeve just redoing it over and over and over again. And I'd put it away for a month. I'd come back to it. Like, this isn't me just sculpting on top of an existing figure and tweaking it. No, I built this from just about every piece. The only thing I did not build is I found two weird little pegs. I used as hip joints. I manufactured the neck joint, the shoulder joints, and then for some reason I was like, I got to do that weird bow-legged seating so if he could sit on a horse. It's like, I ain't gonna skimp out on that. I'm gonna do it. That took forever, and I wish I sat down and drew out the sculpt before it, because the whole time was a lot of indecisiveness. There was no planning. This is trial by error. Let's see what he looks like when he's painted. Finally finished. Took about 2 years to do this, and here's the Kenner one. Here's mine. I will dare say my figure kicks its ass. Since Kenner put out this abomination, and I was trying to go for basically what this figure should have looked like, more in line with this, and when they did put that out, I used a little bit more artistic license to try and top it, and I think I did. Colors are more accurate to the movie, and as far as this machete, I use a completely different inspiration. I use the inspiration from the LJN figure, and although there's more of like a metallic look to that, you can't really see on the camera, I just did mine like flat gray. And I think I got way more of a likeness to Harrison Ford than Kenner did. And my sculpt isn't even that great. It at least vaguely looks like him, like 10%. I think my figure's got kind of more like a Han Solo big head likeness, as opposed to this that looks like a monkey face. How did they do that? How did they get his face to look like that compared to... I mean, it didn't look like Harrison Ford, but at least looked like a face. This is just awful. Man, I got way more detail, better pockets, better folds in his clothes. Which, after the first painting I did, lost all the details, and I had to go back, scrape off all the paint. Kind of ruined it. Had to go back, sculpt it all again. For me, painting this figure was a complete disaster, but it ended up, I say, all the mistakes ended up making a better figure. I mixed up some paint. I didn't make extra though. I just painted them like two coats with the stuff I whipped up that day. Didn't save any. And I was like, oh, I missed a spot there. I want to go back and fix it. I tried to mix more paint. I couldn't get an exact match. Always make extra paint. You never know how many times you're going to screw up, and you're always going to need more. And I tried putting more paint on top of that, and it got too thick. I lost some detail. Tried scraping it off. Well, every time I scraped it off, I had to take him apart, put him back together. I broke his hip. Then after I broke his hip, I cut off the green stuff part of his torso, of his pelvis, and I cut my finger. Cut to a picture of me with a big bandage on. Yeah, because I had to go to urgent care and got a $200 bill for a cut. Yeah, that wasn't fun, and that put me out of commission for about 3 weeks. And then I stripped the paint, and then what you don't use is paint thinner on styrene, because that made it really soft, and I broke his knees. I broke one of his knees off, and was like, oh, what do I do? So I basically sculpted a brand new foot. Put it on there. Then spent the next 2 months slowly painting and making sure I made no mistakes. Look how good he looks. Perfect lines, perfect lines. Whipped up the perfect colors of paint. Made sure I did it well. Resculpted that. And then the knees weren't as good. I had to reinforce it a little bit. So his legs aren't as thin as they were. Kind of wanted him a little thinner figure like that, but no. Well, I wrecked him. And once I put them all back together, painted them, I realized that one leg was longer than the other. So I had basically had to cut his foot off and resculpt the foot. But if you look at older pictures, I think his feet looked like they were like high-top sneakers. Now it looks more accurate to those shoes. They got way more detail. If you look real close, you can see his shoelaces. You can see the soles of his shoes. It's got a lot more detail. I was thinking of sanding them over, smoothing them out, but it's like, no, time to cut bait. Figure's good enough. I don't want to put any more clear lacquer on them. Don't want to ruin it. Good enough. Looks good on camera. Right there. Look at that. Look at that detail. Don't want to lose any detail. Like his little pocket there. The little band on his hat. Like his eyeballs. I like how I purposely did them like that so it would look kind of match like that. It was just two innocent looking little dots for eyes. I like that look. If you look real close, he has his little scar on his chin. Like the real Harrison Ford. And this is what I also realized from the movie. That the little bandage on his hand, that's his missing sleeve. That's what that actually is. Everybody, like all the action figures do it in white, it should be kind of like a dirty tan like his shirt. Made a working whip. Just a piece of string and some green stuff. I kind of also used inspiration from LJ and Indy. I don't have his whip. Basically, that was just a little piece of cord. It looks like they used like the little heat wrap that you use for a wire. And you heat it and it closes around it. It looked like that stuff. So I didn't need much detail for that. But he can hold his whip. And I even have a working gun holster. I did not glue them together. No, I didn't. Because I don't want to have to, in case I have to take them apart again for whatever reason. I would like to make a mold of him somehow, someday. Here's his gun in his hand. I did not do a very detailed likeness of his revolver. I just did the barest. I kind of this project, that's the one thing I kind of lost interest. I was more interested in doing the holster and putting something in the holster than actually making a gun that looked correct. When I redid his knees, this leg right here you cannot take apart. It's the pin inside is sealed over with epoxy sculpt. But when I redid this one, for future references, I can pop that pin out. I left it uncovered, so if I have to repair them again, I just pop the little pin out. Wish I did that on both sides. I'm not going to go back and redo it now. It's just if I want to make this figure even better, I'd have to start over from the beginning. There's so many points where if I just stopped and constantly stopped working on repairs and just started over from the beginning, I think I could have went even harder with this figure. But I never seen anybody go this hard on a custom, completely from scratch. It's about like 90% of the vision in my head. Any better than that is just like overkill. Although I would like to go back and do this figure again in a couple of years, like see how much I progress in my sculpting and all that. There was no pre-planning in this. It was all like me winging it along the way. Like I would actually sit down, draw it, design it, make it better. I would like to see like that after I get even better at sculpting, which I think I got some room to go. But I learned stuff like the first draft of this, there was no wrinkles right there. Oh, the one I redid, I forgot to do his little belt loops for his pants, but I don't care. I think I like that look better because I think this indie right here, Map Room Indie, he had that. I had that on the first version. I also forgot to do the little lines in the shirt going down here. Forgot to do that. Doesn't matter. That's enough detail. It's a lot of wrinkles. Look at it. This one's got nothing. Oh my god, I kicked its ass so bad. I love this figure. Yeah, my figure can hold his accessories. That's because I molded the weapons to the hand. And the hand's got a little bit of give because that's made out of green stuff. And the whip handle's made out of green stuff, so it's got a little give. It's not going to have broken thumbs. Beautiful figure. Love the colors. Love the colors. I'm so glad I kind of screwed up. I had to go back and perfect the colors. The colors make this so unmistakably Indiana Jones. Maybe I shouldn't have. I kind of did match the paint on the Kenner one for the flesh tone. It looks good on this camera, but like I think in person he looks a little too pink. Here's some of my favorite details, like this hair on his head and a little bow on his hat. Just the little wrinkles on that shirt. Did that so many different drafts. I even did the little belt or the whip loop. I got more figures coming. So like, share, subscribe. It's not going to take me 2 years to finish the other ones because they're all, I'm like in various stages of completion on those. Some are almost done. Here's a close-up of my weapons. This is basically a styrene sheet that I cut, and then I put like a epoxy sculpt on the end to shape the handle. Same with the gun. I cut out a little gun shape and then, you know, sculpted the most basic form of a pistol. And that's just a piece of string I found at Hobby Lobby. Put green stuff. I didn't bother even to paint it. Didn't care. I think it looks good like that. I want to give it like some contrast against the black of the whip. I was thinking about making the bag also for him to hold the Shankara stones, but if I have the little hook for his whip, I thought it would just like stick out too far. I didn't like the look of it, so that's one avenue I didn't take. Here he is, posed down. See, my figure poses. All my figures stand well, but I think the next time I might put foot pegs in one of them. Little foot holes. Why not? Just that little extra little detail. That might be cool. I was toying with the idea of giving him 5 o'clock shadow like Map Room Indie and then Indian German disguise. But I thought the face looked fine as it is. And also didn't want to end up putting another layer of paint on there and losing some detail. I had to recut the mouth. And look away. Looks good. When you look up close, he's kind of... You can see too much texture from the paint. And I don't want to throw another layer of gloss on there or sand this down. So, he's going to stay that way. Good enough. Good enough. Yeah, my sculpt, like I said earlier, with my inspirations for it, because after I saw what Kenner made with this, was not a slave to, you know, the original design. So I did beef them up, but plus it was harder to like slim them down anymore. But also Harrison Ford was, you know, bulked up for Temple of Doom. And half the movie was a stuntman anyway, because he hurt his back. Anything, I think his hands, if I have some errors there, is like I think his hands are a little too big. But I needed those just to hold his weapons. And so his like fingers won't break off. But he's got kind of big hands too. And more I studied this figure while making this figure, I kind of want to do something in the LJN style. I might do Mad Max. Because if anybody in the 80s would have done a Mad Max figure at that time, a Road Warrior, probably it wouldn't have been Kenner. I think it would have been LJN. So that's an idea. That's an idea for the future. Tell me what you think about that. Thank you for actually, if anybody was waiting for 2 years or a year and a half, however long I've been posting these videos for this, thank you for checking back. Because I felt like, you know, I couldn't move on in life without finishing this.